Hey guys, JB here, the Wolf of Wall Street in the Wolf's Den. Got an amazing episode today. It's one of my interesting ones because it's not a famous person, but it's a young, up-and-coming salesperson who's got some amazing insights. And what happens is when you see someone who's just young and figuring things out, and they start saying things, you start noticing these patterns of success. You start noticing how he thinks he's discovered something new, which has been instrumental in his life and making him successful, but it's actually the same theme. So you see how these themes keep recurring again and again in every industry, in all age groups. So it's really profound. So I think you're really going to enjoy. There's a certain section, about 30, 40 minutes of this. Like in the middle, it's just rocking, where we're getting into really what's at the heart of success, how you apply it to your own life. So you're really going to enjoy this. All right, we're going to come back. His name is David Carpenter. He's a cool guy, young, 26-year-old. Insurance is his business. But first, let's hear from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with Dave Carpenter. If you're a business owner, you don't need me to tell you that running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud-based business system. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/wolf. That's netsuite.com/wolf. All right, Dave, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course.
I love having people who are like just in the world of sales.
Yep.
And you're building a team.
Yes, sir.
And well, just tell me in your own words what you've accomplished. I know you're a major player in the life insurance game. What have you accomplished so far? How old are you?
Oh, man. I don't really like to talk about it, but I'm 26 years old. And so far we've accomplished, we just had $1 million in sales last year, or excuse me, $1 million in sales last month. So I believe
it's a little better, right?
Yeah, it's a lot better, right?
Those are some rookie numbers that pumped those up
no,
$1 million in a year, right?
Come on now, yeah. Made multiple six figures my first year, made $1 million my third year, and then this year projected to do multiple millions. We've helped 15 people make six figures, which is more impactful than just becoming a millionaire. And I believe we're one of the few young people that are coming in and dominating this industry, because you don't really hear too much about young people selling life insurance. And I think it's a great way to build passive income, a great way to set yourself up for life, do something, get paid for the rest of your life.
So why is that, you think, that you don't hear about a lot of young people going into life insurance?
I think that's a great question. We're trying to fix that.
So why is it? I mean,
yeah.
is it hard to get the license? Is
Yeah.
it a slow process?
It is a slow process. And I mean, it's a slow development. A lot of times people want instant gratification, and it's not really marketed very well. So like my vision has always been, I want to make insurance sexy. Like if real estate's sexy, if something else is sexy, Forex, like why can we make insurance sexy? So that's always been my vision since day one.
Okay. Maybe not sexy, but you can make it fun, right?
Yeah.
To be
We're going to do our best to make it sexy.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So you sell life insurance, right?
Yes, sir.
So for those of you who don't know, there's typically two types. You have what's called term insurance, and you have whole life.
That's right. Yeah.
Why don't you explain to the audience about each one?
Yeah. So whole life is a guaranteed policy. You're guaranteed to get the money. It also builds cash value. So if you ever need to borrow from the policy, you can. If you ever need to cash it out, you can. Builds dividends. And again, that's guaranteed back to your family. So spend a little bit of money now, and heaven forbid you pass away tomorrow, your family's guaranteed cash. Okay, term stands for terminate. So it's for usually 10, 20, or 30 years.
Okay.
And then once that's done, once it's expired, you have to renew it, you have to requalify. So we focus on whole life products a lot of the times because the family's guaranteed to get back more than they paid into it.
Okay. So why would someone, if you think whole life is better, in what circumstances would term make more sense?
Yeah, when you're young, when you have a big family, you can get a lot of term for cheap. So if you can't afford a huge whole life policy, start with a term. But know that your family, if something were again to happen, you can wake up tomorrow, or when you don't wake up tomorrow, your family is guaranteed to be taken care of.
Isn't a whole life sort of flexible? It's like how much you want to put in versus how much insurance you get out, or is there a minimum monthly payments that you just can't have whole life without paying a certain amount? What's the minimum to get involved?
I mean, whole life's more expensive. It's based on your age, your health, your habits. So whole life is going to be more expensive than term. You can get like $1 million term policy for $50 being, 30 years old. So, I mean, that sounds a lot more appealing than, 100,000 for $50, right?
Right.
So if you can't really afford to spend, $300 a month for a $500,000 whole life policy, go ahead and just get a term policy now. When things get better, lock in whole life or get, both. I have both.
You have both.
Yeah.
Personally.
Not?
Okay.
Come on now.
Now, from the perspective of selling it, right?
Yes.
Would you say that insurance is probably like the ultimate pain-based sale, where it's really about like, something that, imagine the future you not having it, and
Correct,
and you die, or God forbid, right? And then your family is, left broke and penniless and homeless, right? Is that how you basically go? How do you go about selling whole life? Do you sell it as a disaster policy or as a actual investment in someone's future?
No, definitely the disaster, because obviously it's the worst day of that family's life. And to add on to that is when they have to go face the funeral director, they got to pay for everything immediately. So we have, our whole life is actually tied to what's called like a freedom of choice. It's a death benefit that pays within 24 to 48 hours. So that way the family has immediate cash. That way their assets are, they're wrapped up, or they don't have cash on hand. They know that their funeral is paid for that family member. So we sell it, we sell based on concepts. So mortgage protection. Like when you die, your mortgage is paid off. Your wife's not gonna have to go, put a foreclosure sign on some young kid like myself come and offer him a lowball deal, and she's out of a house.
Right.
So we sell those concepts, and we sell hope. We're like the safety net for that family's future.
Okay.
So that's really what we focus on.
So let's talk about the sales side.
Yeah.
Like, okay, great. Insurance is great. Everyone should have it.
Correct.
I think insurance is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, why not hedge your bets, right?
Correct.
But let's talk about, how do you sell someone insurance? Do you have a process that you use?
Absolutely.
What's the first step in that process?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we have a script that was written by someone way better than myself, but we start with exclusivity, who we are, because we're not just XYZ insurance company. So instead of just being sleazy, we walk in knowing our value, knowing who we are, and then we have a lot of takeaways in between. So again, we introduce ourselves because we're the only company that was chosen by the police officers, firefighters, veterans, 40,000 different unions, endorse us, recommend us for the last 70 plus years. Okay. So we start with that. We start with, who we are. And then we ask them some questions. We take control with the questions and ask them things that, in terms of, do they know the difference between temporary and permanent? We talk about if they do get qualified, if they do get approved, we'll set them up with this. We make decisions for them. But it's not just cold calling or door knocking. These people are actually requesting to sit with us, because we set them up with a free policy. It's a $4,000 death benefit to start with. And then once we give them our no-cost benefits, then we see if they can qualify for the whole thing.
Right, so go back. So what you're saying is your company has some sort of marketing strategy whereby people are incoming, get leads, right? And they do it by TV, is it online? What's the strategy the company uses?
So it's actually a mail-out letter. So they have, our PR team actually meets with the union presidents, the executives, and they negotiate benefits. They look at our company and they re-sign those contracts every year. So that union president or the treasurer or the business advisor, they'll send out letters to all the union members, and they have to respond saying, yes, like I want to be contacted by an AIL agent. And when they do, we set them up with no cost benefits. We set them with a $4,000 death benefit. Okay. So they get the whole thing.
So you're selling to union members.
Yeah, union members, also private groups. So
there's no like going out there and just saying, hey, you want.
That's right.
You don't do that.
No.
Okay, so it would be unions like you said, firefighters, police
officers, teamsters. Those are the drivers,
that's the whole business.
Electrical workers.
So that's your universe of potential clients.
Yeah, I mean we've expanded too. So now they can sponsor in their friends and family.
Sure.
And we'll give them a $2,000 death benefit for everyone they refer in. We'll give them a health savings card.
There's obviously a different division of the company with salespeople that are closing deals on the institutional level with large unions, right?
Correct.
All right, and they close these blanket deals, right? And as part of that blanket deal, everyone gets $4,000 of protection for paying. So probably some money was paid by the union in that deal, whatever, right? And then you're there to upsell them.
Correct.
Okay,
That's
so it's
right.
an upsell. They're already kind of already clients, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they set it up for us. So they're saying
Right,
if
they're
you
clients.
can't, yeah, correct. They're clients
Right,
already.
so you're upselling.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
They're already policyholders.
Got it. Right. So now you go in there and you say, listen, you're lucky because your union takes care of you
Correct.
and they look after you and they've done their due diligence. They went through 8,000 million different insurance companies and they chose us because we're the best. We have
Correct.
this, we have that, we have this, we have that. And I'm here just to show you that there are other opportunities as well, basically, right?
Correct.
Then you start asking them questions to see.
Yeah.
Because they give you the basic blanket lowest level.
Yep.
And now I want to see what you qualify for,
Correct.
right? What's best
Yeah.
in your, is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. So it makes sense, right?
We find the gaps that they're missing in their workplace benefits
Okay.
because their workplace benefits take forever to pay out.
Got it.
So anywhere from 6 weeks
Sure.
legally up to 2 years. So in the meantime, families lose their houses. They can't pay for funerals because we're sitting with middle class people. We're not sitting with people like yourself,
Got it.
right? So we find the need in a needs analysis. We ask good questions, what they're missing, and that's where we come in and we fill in those gaps.
Okay.
With permanent coverage.
And then you said, but once you close someone that's part of the union, you can then sell this to non-union people if it's on a referral basis?
Correct, yeah. So their friends, their family that they refer in, we go ahead and sit with them, and they can actually refer in people as well now.
Okay.
So
and
we started with just
percentage-
unions. And then
what percentage
expanded.
of your people are referrals?
So we like to actually mainly focus on referrals because it's exponential. There's no limit to it. So we teach people that obviously you sit with a union member, you sell him, but you sit with the mom, that's an easier sell. Then you mentioned the mom's name, you mentioned his name, now the third sale is easier.
Right, sure.
And so on and so forth.
So you are 26?
26, yeah.
Okay. How long have you been in this for?
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, this hit my
and
4th year in January.
what did you do before this?
I was a waiter. And
A waiter?
I actually was in a network marketing company too for 5 years.
Which one was that?
Vima. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It was like younger people's movement. I mean, man, it taught me how to dream, how to have vision, but I didn't make really any money in there. So
Yeah, what was Vima? What were they selling? I remember Vima. What
yeah,
was it? It was
healthy products, energy drinks.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
I remember.
liquid.
I remember.
Yeah,
I remember.
man.
Yeah, it rings a bell. They try to get me involved.
Yeah?
I remember. Yeah. So now, okay. So you are growing up in Phoenix.
Yeah. So I grew up in Phoenix.
What was your childhood like?
Oh man, I was a basketball player. I grew up in Phoenix. I had both sides of the story. My dad was very successful, and then I saw his business crash. He was in the mortgage industry. In 2008, he experienced that. My dad went away into prison when I was 16, and I was stuck with my mom, who really didn't know how to,
Make
take
money,
care of us and make
sure.
money,
So
And-
when your dad went to jail, did the government take everything?
Yeah, pretty much, man. We went from having a nice house, nice car to really nothing. Renting houses, and it was just myself, my brother, my sister. Then I got into sports to stay out of trouble. My brother definitely got into trouble, and that was my road.
What was it like? I'm interested to hear this because my kids, they were very small when I went to jail, and my ex-wife was such that like she would never stand for my kids. Like she went right to another man that was super rich,
man.
so she
Yeah.
my kids never had to deal with the financial fallout from that, right? But what was it like for you? When your dad went to jail at the age of 16, was your dad like a god in your eyes before that, or did you see cracks in the whole thing before? Was it a total shock to you when it happened?
No, it was a total shock, man. That was a guy I looked up to my whole life. And when it happened, I was very angry. So that's where I put it into sports. But I also told my mom, she asked me, I needed to be the man of the house. So I told my mom I was going to take care of her since 16. I was going to make it for our family.
Angry at him or angry at
Just
the
life,
government or
and
angry at
just
the world?
Everything. Like angry at everything.
What did he do, by the way?
I don't even know the exact.
I mean, like
exactly
every
what it
single,
is.
just not to defend your dad, but I will defend your dad that every single person in the mortgage industry was committing fraud at that time. So he probably was just really unlucky that he got caught.
Very unlucky.
Like everyone was
Yeah.
committing fraud.
But
So
it happened for me because I grew up from that. And that's when I decided to get into business when I was 18. And I knew like, hey, sports wasn't going to work out. I'm only 6'2". I can't jump the highest. I'm not the best at that. So that's where I decided to get into business, where I got into network marketing. And I put my all into it. And that introduced me to personal development, sales, how to communicate with people, how to basically help guide someone to making the right decision for themselves.
So let's go back. So you're now 16. Your dad goes to jail, right?
Yeah.
You were living in a beautiful home, nice cars, the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And suddenly you find yourself renting an apartment or a house, right? Whatever, right? And your mom says you got to be the man of the family.
Yep.
And you're still in high school.
Yeah.
So what did you do? What was the first thing you did?
Man, the first thing I did was pick up a basketball, go to the gym. I mean, I was in there for 10, 12 hours a day. Like just that, I thought that was my vehicle, my ticket to take care of my family. So that's been my why since
So you actually, when you was doing that, you thought perhaps you would get a scholarship to college and then go pro and be okay.
Correct.
And then you quickly realize you're just not good enough.
Yeah.
It sucks, right?
Yeah, it does suck. It's all good though. But
Yeah.
during that time, I was actually introduced to business, and I just knew, man.
How did that happen?
I went to a home event. One of my good friends, Marcus West, he actually invited me to this home event. It was a little different. You know, you had to sit down on this couch. They're pitching you some product, some dream. But I was like, what do I have to lose? Like, this could be my ticket. So I've always been optimistic. Like, I want to just figure this out for myself. I saw some young people making money, and I looked at them and said, why not me? So that's when I got involved, and I started to build a team. And we built a fairly large team, about 100 distributors.
Well, this is for that network marketing company,
Yeah,
right? What was
correct.
it, Vima?
Vima,
Is it still around?
It is, but it's not really like growing. It's more just like selling the health products. The products were amazing, but you know, it didn't
But
work
the
out.
opportunity never really made money for anyone?
Yeah. So I fell out of that though, and when I fell out of that, when the business actually went down, they got all this trouble with the government.
Who, Vima?
Yeah, Vima did.
Oh, for what?
I don't know. They thought it was a scam. They looked into it, but when they shut the doors, and by the way, they ended up winning that case. When they shut the doors, that's when, you know, basically my life just flipped upside down. I went and started to become a waiter at Papado's. By the way, this is a year later. My girlfriend left me. I lost the car. I had a company car, couldn't afford it. My mom had to take the car. So this is all happening. And then I decided I needed a new opportunity. So I was actually looking and searching. I got a message on Facebook from this guy named Marty who was talking about insurance. And at first I was like, there's no way, I'm not going to do insurance. That sounds stupid. I don't know if I can make money in that. And then I decided, you know, I'm just going to go give it a shot. And I went in and I met someone who had the life I wanted. He was a young guy, very successful, and he had a wife. He was happy. Like, he just had everything going for him. He's worth millions and millions of dollars, which is my mentor now. And again, I had that voice in my head, like, why not me? Like, why can't I just do what this guy have done?
Right.
So I decided to take my test, okay? And this is 2016, by the way. So girlfriend left me. I'm 22 years old at the time, serving tables. I decided to take my insurance exam. I fail it the max amount of times you can take it in Arizona. So I failed it 4 times. And I remember sitting in my car, literally crying and asking God, like, do you not want me to be successful or what? Like, what's happening? And
what does God say? I want you to fucking study?
Yeah, right. He's like, you need to study harder. No, but the thing is, I just like couldn't get the freaking test down. And then basically,
why is that? Did you have problems in school and stuff?
No, not really.
What was it?
It was just a
what was it
struggle.
about the test that was so difficult for you?
The answers were way different than when I was studying. Man, I'm not the best at tests. Like, I'm good at
I never heard that
that
before. The insurance test was all that difficult. Like,
Yeah.
I heard that with, like, you know, for example, the securities, you know, the Series 7, right? Mm-hmm. That was a very notoriously difficult test that I took when I was, 24. But I remember it was a big deal back then, right? And I think it keeps getting harder and harder. I never heard that with insurance. So it's actually, or is that a state by state?
It's a state by state.
So is
Arizona's pretty tough.
So Arizona's, okay.
In my opinion, but I'm not the smartest in terms of book smart.
So you weren't able to pass the test. So what did you do?
So I got a phone call. I can actually, take it out of state. So I was like, let's do it. I'm broke at this time. Credit cards maxed out, like barely even paying rent. And I decided to book out my test. Now, 2 weeks before my test, I was serving tables. It was a Saturday night. I get a call. I got to leave. And I go to the hospital. Okay, I got to leave because I got to go to the hospital. My brother's actually in the hospital. I went in there and they're like, hey, by the way, your brother was in an accident and your brother's not going to make it. So I lose my brother, even though I decided.
Car accident?
It it was an accidental death. He hit his head. It was this whole thing. So I lose my brother that night. Now I have to make a decision whether I'm going to take this test still, go out of state, or just basically be a victim and say like, woe is me, my life's tough, girlfriend left me, can't pass my test, life's looking rough, can't even pay my bills. So I decided to dedicate my brother's life and my family again to making sure I pass that thing. So I go to my brother's funeral. That next week, I decided to go out of state. Now get this, the night before I test, when I go out of state, I was held at gunpoint because the person I stayed with got robbed because I couldn't afford a hotel. So I was staying with a friend of a friend. And I remember looking down a barrel. Again, a week prior was my brother's funeral.
Right.
And this dude was in a clown mask. And I'm like, man, if I die, like, who's going to take care of my family? If I die, like, my mom's going to commit suicide. And by the grace of God, man, like, he went away. I was the only one that did not get touched. And I woke up. I actually didn't even sleep. From there, I went to my test on no sleep. It was an hour away. And that's when I passed my insurance exam. So that was...
What state was that?
It was New Mexico.
So it was an easier test?
It was an easier test, yeah.
Okay.
Thank God, right? Easier test. And that was what I had to do just to get there, man. Not even talking about the downfalls that actually happened in the business. But,
okay, so now you are suddenly a licensed insurance broker, but you don't have any clients yet.
Correct.
Right? So I guess the lesson here for people listening is that, so, you know, obviously you became successful, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't take any type of intellect. You're saying, is that your point? Is like, you don't need to be special and intellectually, right?
No.
You can have basically, you know, not be gifted in some ways. It's about hard work. And is it sales ability? Is that where you finally shined, that you're a closer? Is that what was really the secret to your success?
I was not the best
you sucked
closer.
at that too.
I sucked at it too. I was like one of those kids that was an underdog that was just like, I'm willing to work harder than anybody else.
Okay.
So I'll be on my craft till 2 a.m, 3 a.m. while this person's going out and partying. Like that was I just have sick work ethic. Okay. So this guy might be better than me, but give me time. Like I'm coming up. So that was always my mindset.
I like that. It's great because I think there's a lot of people out there who are just like you. I mean, I think that, you know, that most people are average in terms of that don't have a special skill.
Yeah.
But I believe that with hard work and perseverance, you can accomplish almost anything. I think we also see like in things like sports, like, listen, I love tennis. I could play 8 hours a day, take lessons from the best. I'm never going to be Roger Federer. I don't have the natural ability, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it seems, what's interesting to me though is that if you would tell me you were a natural born salesperson, it wouldn't shock me. I mean, how natural or not is there's a different question, but you seem like to have the natural instincts of someone who can sell. Body language is correct. Is that something that you learned over time,
Absolutely.
or you always were a personable sort of a guy that would just walk in and kind of connect with people in a room?
That's a great question. It's all learned from studying. So even on our way up here, I'm like, instead of listening to music, I turn on your videos. I study your posture, your voice inflections, how you speak, like how you exert your energy, your body language, your smile, like everything. So I'm a student.
Okay.
So I think like to be great, you got to be a great student. To be a teacher, you got to be a student. And you got to be humble enough to know that you don't know everything, and you got to be in that place of always trying to get better each and every day.
So let's go back now. So, okay, so you pass your test now.
Yep.
You go back to Phoenix, because I guess you were in New Mexico, right? And you go right to work to this company?
Yeah.
And you're starting off as what, just a salesperson?
Yeah, just a salesperson.
Okay, and who was your mentor at this point?
Man, I really didn't have a mentor. Like I had a script at this point because I didn't earn my mentor's time yet. So I have a script. My trainer actually told me I was gonna fail. Everybody told me I was gonna fail. I even at one point thought I was gonna fail.
Like you got a great support system around you.
I remember going to my first appointment. My trainer was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be there," and he wasn't there. And I remember going home and I just screwed it up. It was so embarrassing, this and that. But I went home and studied for like 8 hours, and I wasn't like, "Oh, woe is me." Again, I was determined to win.
Right.
So the next appointment, I go out and sell it. And then I just realized that if it's meant to be, it's up to me. Like I got to be the one to take ownership, responsibility of this whole thing. So from that point, I mean, my whole life, I've just never made excuses. I've like always found a way to win. So even without the resources, the mentorship, I would seek it through audios, books, and I would also just figure out what didn't go right. I would study my own presentations,
Right.
and then I would improve from there.
So what year is this now we're in?
So this is 2017, my first year in insurance.
So after this, first
Yeah.
terrible presentation, next one you close,
Yeah.
right? Does that set you on this path where you start to get more and more
Yeah.
confidence? And at what point, how long into this is it a
Yeah.
month or 2 months where you start to feel, wow, I'm actually really good at this? How long does that take?
So my second month, I almost quit because, again, a lot of naysayers. I didn't have a great second month, but I had people that I recruited into the business passing their test. So this is what happened when some of my friends passed their test. That's when I went to a whole nother level, because I would have a lot of voices that are like, hey, you can't make it, you can't make it. But none of that even mattered because I needed to go out and serve. So I sat my third month, no money. I sat in my apartment again. I remember doing like 6-7 hours of studying. Back then we were in home presentations. And I took our crew, the new guys who just passed their tests, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna teach these guys how to win. So we go to Tucson, Arizona. Don't even really know what I'm doing, but I'm just like, I'm gonna basically act as if I'm the best closer in the world. I'm gonna walk in confident, swagger, like I'm the guy, like you guys need to buy from me. And it worked. That month, I made $12,000 from almost quitting the month before, just literally having faith and putting myself in that position.
Okay.
Everything took care of the rest. And that's when it got better and better and better, because I realized that this is actually going to work. Like, I don't know how it's going to work, but it just keeps playing out. So I got addicted to just putting myself in uncomfortable positions to grow.
Right.
And from there, things just started aligning. I just had this vision that we're going to be the largest, most successful agency in the industry. Like, we're going to go take this thing over. So we started attracting young people. We started to grow, and then at the end of that year, that's when I cleared multiple six figures, and I helped 2 people make 6 figures. That was my first year.
All right, guys, today I want to talk about something important to me, and this is true when you hear it. If you've been following me for a while, I love to help people reach success and fulfillment, right? Some of you need to hear this. The only thing standing between you and your goals is the bullshit story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't achieve it. And for some of you, and this was me at one point, by the way, and you all know this is true, what's standing your inevitable path to success is substance abuse. Trust me, I know it's hard. Making a commitment to sobriety shouldn't have to mean sacrificing the comfortable lifestyle you've come to know. Why not experience the best of both worlds? If you're ready to take part in a world-class treatment program and prefer the luxury of a beautifully appointed residential villa or a mansion in sunny South Florida, it's time to consider United Recovery Project. Through both an expansive alumni network offering support and a staff with firsthand personal experience with addiction, you'll be supported by those who know exactly what you're going through and how to best help. United Recovery Project works with most major health insurance plans and also providers to help cover the costs of your addiction treatment. So if you or your loved one is suffering from substance addiction, go to urphelp.com and begin the road to recovery today. That's urphelp.com. All right, listen, this is a message from my favorite sponsor, NetSuite, an awesome company, part of Oracle, Larry Ellison, a legend. They're the best, right? So here's the deal. If you're a business owner, you don't need them to tell you that running a business is a tough thing to do, right? But you might be making it a lot harder on yourself than you have to be. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. It's time to upgrade to NetSuite. Time to stop paying for multiple systems that don't give you even close to the amount of information you truly need to run your business the right way. Ditch the spreadsheets, all that old software you've outgrown. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility, the control over your financials that you need, your HR, your inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything all in one spot, instantaneously. Whether you're doing $1 million or hundreds of millions in revenue a year, you can save a ton of time and a ton of money with NetSuite. You want to join over 24,000 companies who are using NetSuite right now. Let them show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/Untitled. netsuite.com/wolf. Schedule a free product tour now at netsuite.com/wolf. That's netsuite.com/wolf. All right, want to grow your business, diversify your content? You're not going to find a better tool out there than Melon for your live streaming needs. Blazing fast response time, low CPU usage, all available right in your browser. Go to melonapp.com/wolf and start streaming today. You said something very quickly, putting myself in uncomfortable positions to grow, right?
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah. So how is this uncomfortable for you? Really? Nah, you seem comfortable.
No, I am now, but yeah, you're the GOAT, man. Much respect.
Fine. That's fine. Thanks for that. But that's a really important point, I think, because I think most people don't do that.
Yeah.
I think that, there's this old adage, the people don't succeed because they have a fear of failure. They don't want to fail. And that's somewhat true. I mean, I don't think anyone wants to fail, but I think that the bigger or more important side of that whole thing is that most people don't really believe they're going to succeed. Mm-hmm. They don't actually, when they are faced with a decision that's an uncomfortable one, most decisions that are important have some discomfort attached to it, right? You're moving yourself into an area that is new, it's challenging, right? And a lot of people will sort of face that and turn around because, not because they're cowards, because when they play the movie out, they're like, well, I don't really think I'm going to succeed. And they'll say, I don't really see myself getting the benefits. Like, well, I'm not going to succeed. Why face the shit?
Yeah.
Right? So my question to you is that you made this point, like, almost like you're mastered the art of putting yourself into situations that you're not comfortable with because you know that that's how you grow. But when you're doing that, what's on your mind? Like, are you saying to yourself, like, I know I can, I know I have what it takes. I know if I work hard enough, if I stick to this, I know I can learn it. Is that what's going on underneath that?
So I just know that every time I've done that, it's gotten me to where I wanted to be. So I actually chase after those things that are uncomfortable because those are the things that grow you the most. And like you said, those are the main things that you need to be doing each and every day. So I had to get uncomfortable to grow. I had to put myself in that situation because my why is big enough. Like my mom working 60 hours a week, like at 58 years old, like visualizing that, and that's all I needed to do is get uncomfortable. Like I'm selfish if I don't do that. So I put myself in those situations because that's what's going to separate me from the other guy that's not willing to do that. So why would I be that selfish? And why am I thinking about myself so much when I need to be thinking about, I need to take care of my family. I need to go and provide this product and be here and make this happen.
So on many levels, like, I really think you've stumbled upon like the secret to success for many people. Like, I got to tell you, it's very profound what you're saying. It really is. In other words, I think you're not giving it enough credit. Like, it's a really important thing that what you've done essentially is you've rewired your brain into getting pleasure from discomfort.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, because you say, okay, I'm going into an uncomfortable situation, yet somehow your brain is switched off the move away, and that's become a value that you move towards.
Yeah.
All right? So and I think people need to really look at this. Seriously, you need to look at this because a lot of things in life, I'm exactly the same way. I get pleasure from things that would normally be displeasurable because I've linked in my own mind that if I do this, if I keep going at these things that seemingly are painful, they're embarrassing, they're difficult, that the good things happen as a result. It's like a direct relation I made. It started for me very young. It started when I was 16 and I went down to the beach and I started selling ices blanket to blanket and I started making massive money, right?
Wow.
Before that, I was lazy as a kid. Like, if you gave me a job like to go work at a catering hall and I was the kid putting the butter down, I'd fucking be the worst butter putter. Like, I'm sleeping in the sun because, like, why the hell should I put butter or clean a glass when I'm not making extra money for it? Like, but when I went down to the beach and I had that first breakthrough day where I made like $200, which is now like $1,000 in a day in an hour, and I was like, holy fucking shit. And like in my own mind, like, so, getting up early, even though I'm tired, walking in the heat, doing all the sneaking on, like, because it was like, wasn't really supposed to be there. It was borderline licensed and not. It was a long time ago, right? But all those things that started me on this path where, like, no matter how hard I partied the night before when I was 17. No matter where, every morning I would get up at 6 o'clock because I knew that by doing that, it separated me from other people.
Exactly.
So how much of this is about that when you are essentially moving forward when other people would typically be moving backward? It's just the sum of all those moves puts you at a different level. Is that basically what you're doing?
No, it's exactly what you're doing. And like you said, you woke up early, even though you probably didn't feel like it because you went and partied the night before.
Right.
So successful people still feel the same feelings as everybody else, but they choose the right decision. And I think that's what success is. It's a moment-to-moment decision making, that I'm going to make this right decision right now, this moment, and I'm not going to focus on anything other than that. And regardless of how we feel, whether it's uncomfortable, whether we feel like it, successful people, they just do the work.
Right.
All the stuff that people are not willing to do.
Right. So again, like I say, one of the famous quotes I have is like, success is about getting yourself to do the shit you know you have to do, even when you don't feel like doing it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So
that is a famous, I use that all the time.
No, well I mean, I figured it out pretty young because because again, you know, here's the thing. In success, in business, in life, there's a lot of stuff that you have to do that you enjoy doing.
Correct.
There's things that we all enjoy. Like I love doing stuff. I get engaged and it's just like fun for me. But then there's a lot of other shit that no one likes doing. And if you say you like it, you're lying.
Exactly.
Like you know, say I love cold calling. Bullshit. No one wants to cold call and knock on doors. No one likes getting the door slammed in their face. No one likes getting rejection on the phone. But it's something that you know that you must do in order to get what you want in life, right? And it's the ability to get yourself every day. Another thing you said, which is important, I think, is this idea, like, you know, what is success? And it's like almost like what you're saying is profound, that it's not like success is like a destination. Yeah. It's almost like what you bring to everything that you do in life. It's like success on a high scale, large scale, is based on little tiny successes along the way. Correct. Right? Like I'll tell you a funny story here. So my second wife, I have a lot of wives. It's like many wives.
Congratulations.
I know. I always say I'm here to teach sales and business mastery, not relationship mastery. Right? Tony Robbins is better for that stuff, right? But anyway, but my second wife, she remarried. Nice guy. I really liked the guy. But when we first met, I had just gone to jail. All right? And I was going, he had lost everything, and he was very successful. This guy, very successful, but a very nice guy, right? Yeah. And I was like, oh, you met another wealthy guy? What a shock, right? Okay? So anyway, and every time I would see this guy, I'd say, hey, how's business? Sucks. Oh my God, fucking garments, fucking Chinese, they're cutting prices. Next time, my factory workers are still every time I see this guy, he's telling me his business is terrible. Man. Meanwhile, he's very successful, making probably $10 million a year, right? 3 years later, he's bankrupt. In other words, it can't be that every second, every day, everything's going wrong, but somehow you're rich. It doesn't really work that way.
No, it doesn't.
What happens is it's sort of these moments after moments after moments that really culminate in a successful business, successful life, right? Correct, yep. I like that. You got a lot of great insights. It's interesting. I think what I like about someone like yourself a lot is that, you know, you're coming to this from a humble place, right? Yeah. But I think you're speaking some really elemental truths here about success. So appreciate that. So you realize this stuff, right? Now you start training yourself to move into uncomfortable situations. Right, to push forward when your brain is or your heart is saying I should. That's almost like the signal to push forward, right? Yeah. So how does that start to manifest itself into real success? So what's the next? What happens next? So you're starting, you're making money. You make some good money your first year, right? What did you say? You make over 100 grand?
Yeah, multiple six figures, like 280 for my first.
200 grand your first year, which is great, by the way, right? And then what happens? What's the next piece of this puzzle that starts to really make you into what you want today?
Finding a good mentor after that, really like dialing it in, knowing exactly what's the next move, how do you get to the next move? You got to learn. I heard this quote, it was actually from David Meltzer. He said,
good friend of mine, by the way.
Yeah,
I have a call with his partner in 2 hours, by the way.
Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. I do coaching calls with him too.
He's
Shout
a
out to you.
Guy, Dave. Yeah, Dave's great.
He said, sit with somebody that's already been there, ask for directions. Right. So that's all I did. I found someone that's already been there, and I asked for directions. And a lot of the stuff, again, would be uncomfortable, but I would just listen and do it. Now, the second year, we started really exploding. Started doubling my income. Now, I'm at $500,000. But at the end of the year, pride, ego, just not knowing how to lead, being young and just arrogant, right? 23 years old, I lost like everything. A lot of my main leaders left me, went to another insurance company, and I started from ground zero, halfway through, or at the end of the second year.
Okay.
And that was a profound moment because, again, I realized that I didn't really have so many people in my corner that were really in my corner. And I started to value really good people. So the second time I built this thing really was around good people. What I mean by good people is character, values, people that were humble, that are hungry, and not just people that looked good or that, smiled in my face. Like I really started looking at how they treated people, how they treated me,
right,
and were they just showing up to the tables or not, things like that.
Right.
So that's where we came together and we started to build something special. Then I had a top guy this year, or actually last year, come in. His name's Talant Bain. This guy is an absolute legend in sales. He's like, I would say, the best sales guy we have in the company. Shout out to you. And he decided to come to Arizona. He partnered with myself and Dustin Vinnycamp. And that is when things really started to take off because this guy has got integrity. Again, just surrounding myself with good people, man, on the same mission. None of this, okay, this guy looks good. I want people that are willing to work, they're grinders.
Explain to me how, so one thing I'm confused about is the structure of the business and how it benefits you that this guy's a great closer. So are you building an organization to you? So what are you doing? You're selling yourself and training others to sell, and you're getting a cut of their sales?
Yep. Develop yourself and then develop other people.
Okay. So how many people, so you guys doing that together as like co-managers of an office?
Bigger than office. We're actually virtual now. So it's all over the United States.
Oh, so it's not in any one state anymore?
Not anymore. It used to be.
Okay.
But we have like Cleveland, we have a team in Cali, Arizona, Texas, New Mexico. But now we're actually trying to get rid of the offices and not limit ourselves with that and just build everything virtually, which is going to be crazy.
So what's the system that you guys use? So you guys are partners?
Yeah. And Dustin too.
And another guy as well?
Yeah. That's my mentor, our mentor, Dustin Vinnycamp. Shout out to you.
And you have how many, you call them insurance reps? What are they? Agents?
Licensed agents, and we have a lot of upper level managers too. So we have a great foundation of great leaders. I can't mention everybody.
But how many people are out there on the front line as agents?
Everybody. I mean, even myself
how many?
I would say in our organization we have about 100.
100. Okay.
Yeah.
So those 100 people are doing what? They're going after the leads that they're being provided from the unions.
Correct.
So it's all based on the initial outreach. It's either based on a union contact or referral from that.
Yeah. We also have leads that we generate from online as well, like WillKit leads. We have Child Safe that play into they're mixed in somehow with a union, like National Crime Prevention Council.
Okay. Yeah. But I would assume your highest closing rates are the ones that are
correct. The union, and then also the referrals from those.
Okay,
those are the highest close ratio.
So you have 100 people, right? And is the limiting factor to going from 100 to 1,000 they have to get licensed? Is that the problem?
No, I think it was really just figuring out how to teach people how to become successful faster, like developing agents, which we really kind of put that piece together, because when you have great top salespeople around just average people, they bring them up, the tides rise. So I think that was really the missing link there. So since we have last month, we had, I would say 8 out of the top 30 heavy hitters in the whole entire company in our organization. And so since that happened, things are really starting to click. We're developing closers now, not just bringing people in and trying to teach them insurance. We're teaching them how to actually be very good at selling. So now things are taking it, really going. How much of
this is reliant on knowing a lot about insurance? Because it would seem to me
it's not. It's learning sales. It's just a product.
Insurance is really very small part in the sense that because it's probably all done for you. They have certain, it's probably certain matrices. If they want XXS, this is the policy, right? Yeah. It's probably pretty easy to learn, right?
Correct.
So at the end of the day, it's really about just finding people who want to learn to sell insurance,
yeah, correct,
right?
Yeah.
And how long, and they all have to be licensed. There's no way to do it without a license.
No, they got to be licensed.
They can't talk to anybody.
Yeah, they can't.
Okay.
They can get a temporary license, in the meantime, but
what's a temporary license?
Temporary license, they have 90 days to sell. and after that it expires. They got to get a permanent license. So some states actually allow them to.
What states are those?
Illinois, I think because of COVID, a lot of them had it. I don't know what the rules are now. We try to stay away from it because we want people that are all in. Like,
temporary licensed. So essentially, it's someone that theoretically could walk off the street. I want to be an insurance agent, and you say, "Great, you're temporary licensed.
You're hired. No.
You got 90 days to." No, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm just talking in theory. 90 days to study, and in the meantime, you could go out and make money selling insurance.
Yeah.
Working under your undertaking.
Yeah. Which is a great thing.
Yeah, obviously. And how many states is that?
I would say, I don't know the exact. I don't want to give you the wrong number. Yeah.
So, do you guys have like a growth strategy in mind? Like, what are you looking to do here?
Yeah. So the strategy behind it is teach them sales, develop leaders. Then we teach them how to personally recruit. And we're growing this thing. Really, we're focusing on it because we could do vendors and we can hire random people. But if we teach someone how to go make $4,000 in a week, $2,000 every single week, it's a no-brainer for them to share it because it's a work-from-home position. We're going to provide the leads. We'll take care of all the overhead. And we're teaching normal people how to go become financially free. So we're scaling it like that.
How many companies out there are aggressively competing with you in this space? Like, for instance, when you with the union people, I know it's a captive market, right?
It's captive,
you have the
it's
union
captive
contract, right?
Correct.
Although I guess they're probably being called by other people too, saying this doesn't compete with what your union offers you. This is ancillary, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of online, so let's say, imagine for a second that there was no union leads. And you had to go out there and do it the old-fashioned way, which is just find.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, would online be the way you would? Are those leads actually viable? Does it work?
Yeah.
Is it simply because if it was me and I looked at the outside, say, okay, let's come up with an online marketing campaign, get incoming leads, and then send people to the homes to close them.
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, online we have ads and we run those too. So we have those going, and then again we get referrals from them because we're closed market benefits. They get to sponsor them in to get police officer, firefighter, veteran benefits.
So if you get 10 leads, what percentage of them do you close on 10 leads from online?
So like across the board, it's 33%.
Forget the insurance. I'm talking online.
33% of the leads, so 1 out of 3 that people sit with
online
on the
leads.
online.
Okay, so now, and what's an online lead cost you?
And it just depends.
Okay, probably not that much. $8.
Yeah, 10 to 20, depending on which one it is.
And are there enough leads of just union reps, or you need this to? So there's a finite amount of union leads, right? Yeah. Is there an infinite number of online leads?
There's a lot more. And then there's infinite referrals. So
I understand, right?
Correct. Yeah.
But I'm saying my point is if you're scaling this,
correct. Yeah.
Right? Are you looking to scale this with online leads? Have you thought this through?
Yeah, for sure. We're going to scale with mostly online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Because we can go. I mean, we can have those all over the country. So they just need a license. They don't have to be there. They need to have a license. Say they're in Arizona, they can sell in Chicago. They can sell in Texas. We can go generate those leads in any state.
Oh,
and they can sit there, just have the license.
In one state.
That's it.
Goes everywhere.
Correct. Yeah, they just have to apply for all those licenses. We can go produce those leads.
They grandfathered in automatically.
Correct.
Like
yeah. They don't need to retake the test.
Interesting. What's your goal for you? Where do you see this going for you? Do you know how big of a company you want to build?
Yeah.
And how important is the American, is it called income life?
American income life. Yeah.
How important is American income life in this equation? Do you ever think about trying to do the whole thing yourself, or no? Just like it's much easier to leverage off of their name.
It's a lot easier. No overhead, pure profit. It's just so much easier. So a lot of times people get caught up in the titles. We're all about making people cash and making money and building residuals. So they've been around for 100+ years. Our renewals are guaranteed and they pass on even after we die. So that's why I love American Income Life, because the relationship's already built. When you start a new company, it's a lot of overhead. Yeah, you can scale it, but the infrastructure is already there. Then take the money and do something else with it, like invest in real estate, start other businesses, so on and so forth. So it's a cash flow.
What's the for a solid young guy, girl, right? 2-3 years in, what should a top producer be making each year?
I mean, a top producer can teach top producers.
Right. Well, I'm talking on their own production. Like what's a realistic amount that someone can make?
I mean, a top producer, you can make $500,000 a year. You can make $1 million a year selling insurance. There's no limit.
So like, but it kind of caps out at like $500,000 to $1 million.
Yeah.
Like for example, on Wall Street, a broker could make $10 million a year as a stock, but every industry has its own sort of cap.
Yeah.
So the way to go beyond that,
I'll say about $1 million would be the top.
Great, and then the way to go beyond that would be that people working underneath you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're doing.
Correct.
So what's your goal?
So my goal is my end goal is I want to help 1,000 people a year make 6 figures. We want to grow this. The first goal is to hit 100 million in sales, just our agency, and then $1 billion. And then take that money and start other businesses with, again, the people that we have here. Brilliant.
So what's the easiest way? So if someone wants to do this, right? How do they get in touch with you?
Message me on Instagram, David E. Carpenter _. And, if they're the right fit, we can get them an interview, get them set up.
And what does that mean? Does that mean, is there some qualification? Do they need a college education? Do they need to be a certain age?
No college. We're looking for great attitude, positive, coachable, someone that's willing to work hard, and then someone that's willing to grow, get out of their comfort zone. If you're not one of those, don't message me.
All right. Dude, I have to say, when I interview someone who's not like super like famous person, it goes either way. But I'd say with you, really, I find you to be very intriguing in the sense that you really have come to some really great truths at a young age.
Thank you, man.
And the stuff you're saying is real. It makes a lot of sense. So, guys, I would definitely check them out. Yep. I always like insurance is one of those staple industries, it's like real estate, insurance, stock, it's financial services really, right?
Exactly.
So it's certainly a way for people to make money that you can kind of write your own ticket. You can make it as big as you want. So buddy, thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate
You're awesome. All right.
Thank you.
Everyone check this out. Share this with your friends. Another great episode of The Wolf's Den. Take care.